Funding for Fair 2026 is provided by
Pella Windows and Doors help bring your home to life. For more than 100 years, Pella has been dedicated to building a brighter future in Iowa communities. Pella Corporation is a proud supporter of Iowa PBS.
With our Iowa roots and Midwestern values, Farmers Mutual Hail is committed to offering innovative farm insurance for America's farmers, just as we have for 6 generations. Farmers Mutual Hail, America's crop insurance company.
As Iowans, we all want clean air, land, and water. Iowa's pig farmers do too. You can learn more about the Iowa Pork Producers Association at iowapork.org/wecare.
Since 1929, Wellaby has offered insurance solutions to help people protect their health and financial well-being. Wellaby strives to empower people to be well-prepared, and well-protected. Learn more at wellaby.com.
Welcome to Iowa, where you can explore parks, wander countless trails, and experience history, culture, and art. Travel Iowa.
At Iowa Corn, we know that corn is more than just a crop. It fuels our cars, feeds our livestock, and is in over 4,000 products on your grocery store shelves. Iowa doesn't just grow corn, corn grows Iowa. Learn more at iowacorn.org.
Banking in Iowa goes beyond transactions. Banks work to help people and small businesses succeed. And Iowa banks are committed to building confident banking relationships. Iowa Banks, your partner through it all.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another evening of Iowa State Fair Highlights. I'm Bill Riley. One of the things that I just love about the Iowa State Fair is discovering just how many different talents people have. Some are practical, some are surprising, and there are a few that you just won't find anywhere else. On tonight's show, we'll see who can blow the biggest bubble in one of the fair's sweetest competitions. We'll come face to face with some fascinating reptiles at Snakes Alive. And we'll watch talented dogs show off the instincts and teamwork that make them such valuable partners on the farm. But first, we'll get started with a thunderous display of horsepower. It's the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulls.
Welcome to the Elwell Family Park, where fairgoers have an insatiable appetite for this event every single year. I'm Paul Yeager. Thanks for joining us. Rainy weather in previous days had fans holding their breath that dirt conditions wouldn't be up to par. But a break in the clouds have given these hot rods the traction they need. All right, folks, are you ready? Here we go. First up, it's Diesel 3.0, and it's Jason Wayman. He's driving Megatron out of Novinger, Missouri. His distance, 344.45. Evan Brehine. He's behind the wheel of No Limits out of Sedalia, Missouri. He doesn't know when to stop till that red flag comes up at 352.82. And your first place pull here in Diesel, Skylar Leeper. Legal Limits. The driver out of California, Missouri, drives from coast to coast for a 3.61 even. Well, hey, you know what? Coloring can be a nice distraction for the kids, but oh, wait, let's not get too distracted. Let's get to the light superstock and Tom Scheffler just for fun out of Hancock, Iowa. His distance, 272.45. Ryan Bozen. He's under construction out of West Point, Nebraska. Bozen knows how to go. He knows how to hold the sound down. Look at that hammer go, 286.48. And now it's Jeremy Paulson out of Schleswig, Iowa. The Hawkeye hooker knows how to pull it. Look at him go, 307.84. There's your winner in the light super stock. Let's move to modifieds now. Cameron Neves, he's got some cotton candy. That's pretty sweet out of McAdoo, Texas. 315.55. Loading up and letting the bull buster go. Donald Nelson out of Camp Spring, Texas. That's a 320.89 pull. And your first place modified, Wayne Bunnage. Stronger than the storm out of Ellery, Illinois. He rides this one, 329.09 for the title in modified. Oh, the art of truck and tractor pulls. Let's check out another masterpiece here. Oh, you know all about Rat Trap. You've seen it before. It's Marty Selman out of Garden City, Missouri. Look at that pull, 333.033. Hold on to that number. Remember that one. Oh, that's cute. In second place, Nathan Breheim, breaking loose out of Sedalia, Missouri. This one is a great looking pull. In fact, it looks really close at 333.034, just 1/1000th of a foot difference. And then in first place, it's Toby Vanderpool, the chain stretcher out of Indianola. He stretches the distance to go 339.69 for first place in the Pro Stock 4x4. Now it's on to the Super Farm. Third place, Mark Roberts, Spanky's Toy out of Scribner, Nebraska. 331.74 is the distance there. Second place, another familiar name here at the Iowa State Fair. It's Dave Rosaboom. He's driving Red Rock. He's rocking and a-rolling from Rock Valley, Iowa for a distance of 340.72. And then it's the deer of Alan Andrews. He's on Dakota Deer out of South Dakota. And a distance of 347.60 for first place in Super Farm. That's just a handful of the highlights from this year's Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulls. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. I'm Paul Yeager. Have fun at the fair.
Amid the hustle and the bustle of the Iowa State Fair, there's a beautiful reason to slow down and take a closer look. Because the competition here is to see what you're really looking at. Tell us about the flower identification contest. Why flowers?
Well, it's something we've been doing for quite a few years, and a lot of people enjoy doing it. And so we bring in 12 flowers of different varieties, and then we have people try and guess the names of them. They're not all hard. There's maybe a couple thrown in there that might be a little bit more difficult, but most of them are pretty easy. We do throw in a tiebreaker, so that's number 13.
Okay, very cool. And are these all Iowa native flowers, or are they kind of from all over?
Not necessarily native, but they're pretty much flowers that'll grow in Iowa, in most people's gardens.
Mm-hmm. What are the rules for the contest?
Well, there's not a lot of rules. You can't use your phone. You can talk over with your friend and discuss and determine who has the most correct answer. The contest starts when the building opens, and we post the names at 4 o'clock in our department.
So I saw you ladies were doing the flower identification contest. Is this your first year entering?
Yeah.
Same for you? Awesome. So why are you guys interested in flowers?
We like nature and wildlife and stuff, and we have a big garden, and we've kind of grown up doing the garden stuff, so it's just interesting to us, and it's sort of our passion.
Very cool. So you guys entered the contest. How do you feel your chances are?
I feel pretty good about them. I mean, I work at a greenhouse, so I think I got most of them, but some of those, like, really rough ones, kind of that just had different leaves and stuff. It was like,
So do you think you'll study and try again for next year?
Yeah, I would definitely, after this, I might look up what the other ones were that I was like, I don't know. I might have got like the first, like the common name maybe right, but yeah.
I like to watch the way that the dogs handle the cattle, if they manage to keep them together and don't rush in and split them apart and stuff. I like just to watch the dog and see how he handles the situation. So to start off, handler's gonna come out here with his dog. He'll pick up the cattle, he'll come in behind the cattle, pick them up and start moving them this way. The idea is to come straight down towards the handler. You can use whatever signal, you can use hand signals, you can use voice signals, you can use whistle signals. Some guys do it in Spanish, some are in other foreign language. He has to get all of the cattle around the pen. So now he's going to take the cattle and try and go straight out to that pen, that walk-through, and they have to go through the center. They cannot go around the outsides. If they go through the center, each of them scores 10 points. Then they're going to go over to the barrel, and there, all three of them, in order to get 30 points each, have to go around the barrel, and there's no retries on the barrel. And the handler can work either side of this entrance. He can start here and stay here, or he can go to the other side, but then once he establishes himself there, he has to stay on that side. And he can help the dog a little bit. And they're going to bring the cattle down through this chute. And again, once again, he gets 10 points for each animal that comes through. And then he's going to have the dog bring them down here to the gate. And the dog has to be the one that actually brings the cattle into the pen. Once he's got them all in, then he can shut it. And that's when his time stops. Well, I think there's some excitement if something happens and the cattle don't do what the dog wants them to do. And I think if the dog can do it quickly and get them through everything, in a small amount of time, that they like that. They enjoy, kind of like car racing, the faster you go, the better they like it.
If you enjoyed those talented dogs, join us tomorrow as we head to the farm to learn what it takes to train them. Now tonight, the Iowa State food competitions have introduced us to some remarkable cooks and bakers. This year, one contest honors a woman whose talent, generosity, and love of baking inspired generations of competitors.
First place goes to Louise Piper because of the flavor that comes out in her salad.
You get a blue ribbon here or there, or even a red or even a white, because to place in the top 3 in many classes is, and then you're hooked.
After Mom passed away, she couldn't do the fair last year, and she's been coming every year for 40 years. It's definitely her thing, and I know that she would love to have a contest in honor of her memory. Thank you for coming today. Really glad to see the pies that people have entered. They look delicious. Can't wait to try them. It's green tomato pie because that's the pie that my mom would make me every year for my birthday in September. You want to use everything in the garden, and sometimes there's an early frost, so you're always out there grabbing everything you can before that freeze comes. What do you do with green tomatoes? But she would make me a green tomato pie, and I loved it, so she'd make it every year. So I'm going to try to keep everything in mind with the way she made her wonderful pies for me, and we'll judge them today and find a few winners. It'll be fun. Thank you for coming.
The closer to the source that you can get your fruits and vegetables, the better product you will have.
It's so great to have this in honor of her. And what did the fair mean to her?
Well, the fair was everything. She started, way before, like the year before, because she did canned goods and things like that too, so she could. It was always important to her when she did pies and things like that to go close to the source to get the ingredients. That was her big deal. So she was always very hunting, going wherever she needed to get something fresh. And she just loved coming here and competing. It was so fun. She said, I learned something every year. And her friends that she would see when she was here, it's the only once a year that she'd see them. And they became very close. They'd write throughout the year and celebrate together while they watched the judging. It was a great time.
So I love the fair. I came to the fair today, though, just to honor Louise Piper and come to this contest because I worked in this department for about 10 or 12 years, and that's how I got to know Louise, and I just admired her so much and was so inspired by her. She's one of the favorite people that I think I've ever known.
She entered a lot of things here in different categories, but she was very well known as the pie lady. She always brought pies.
I think this is awesome for her memory to be able to do this. I'd never heard of her green tomato pie, and I told my mom, and she's like, oh yeah, she made that. And I said, I never knew that.
Thank you, everyone, for coming today and for all the entries. Mom would have been really happy. Family was number one to her. Always took first place behind God. And her fair family was also considered a family, and she just adored all of you and loved coming here. First place goes to Kay Smith. This was delicious. The pie crust is very nice and flaky, and it's well done. Really reminded me a lot of my mom's pie, and so it gets first place.
How big of a bubble can you blow? We're going to see who has bragging rights here at this year's State Fair Bubblegum Blowing Contest. Not as easy as it looks, and you got to be careful because one wrong exhale, you could have a sticky situation.
Get a couple minutes to get that gum kind of primed up there, and then they start blowing it. This is a very popular contest. We've been doing this for years, and the fun thing is we see a lot of repeat people every single year.
This is the official bubblegum measure. So as people are blowing their bubbles, so we come up and measure the width of the bubble, and then it tells us how big their bubble was.
Okay, this is measuring diameter?
Yes.
And what is considered a good bubble?
Probably about 6 inches, depending on the age group, but we get some that are pretty big, up to 8, 9, 10 inches, if they can really get the juices flowing and the sugar's broken down and everything.
Now, how hard is it for you to get in there quickly and get this measurement? Because you probably don't have much time, right?
Correct, yeah. So we have them raise their hand, and when they think they're ready, they have to kind of seal off their bubble and kind of hold it for us so we can get in there and measure real quick.
What's the secret to blowing a good-sized bubble?
Just blow and keep putting air in the bubble.
Do you chew bubble gum on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of practiced a little bit, but you just didn't practice specifically for the competition.
No.
Okay, any tips or tricks for those who maybe want to blow a big bubble? What would you recommend?
I don't know. I don't know how I learned stuff.
First place, you had one way bigger than everybody else. Do you know how big it was?
6.
6, okay. I'm told that was really good. So what's the trick? What's the key to blowing a big bubble?
Just try your best, I don't know.
Just try your best? There's no special technique or anything?
Not that I know of.
Do you practice at all?
I blow bubbles all the time. I'm always chewing gum.
You ever get in trouble for it?
I get in trouble, sometimes in school. I blow bubbles and then I got to throw it away.
But see, now it's paying off.
Yeah.
You won a blue ribbon at the Iowa State Fair.
It's paying off.
Done this before, you knew what to expect.
Last year I got like 3rd place. This year
Okay,
I got
we're moving on up. Okay,
Yeah.
what's the secret?
I don't know. I got most of it on my face.
Okay, you're Mackenzie's mom. How proud are you of her today?
So proud, especially after watching her starting bubbles.
First time competitor, long time bubble blower, yeah.
All right, what's the secret?
A lot of gum. I got 2 pieces in.
2 pieces in, all right, okay. Okay, and any special technique about how you stretch it out and
Folding it over. So stretch it a little bit, fold it over, stretch it, creating layers inside your mouth before you blow it.
It's my 4th first place in a row.
4th first place in a row. Okay, so you know what you're doing. What's the secret?
I don't really have one. I don't practice. It's just for fun.
And are you having fun?
I'm having a great time.
Oh my gosh. I didn't see your glasses here that you've got bubble gum all over them. What happened?
It was a 7.5-inch bubble, and it popped on my face.
The name of the exhibit is Snakes Alive. We put on approximately 50 reptiles from around the world, most of them exotic stuffs. We rarely show anything that's native to Iowa. We try to bring stuff that's interesting, exciting, colorful. And then when you're all done looking at all the animals, you can get your picture taken with a big Burmese python.
Like when you're at the fairgrounds, you see, cattle, pigs, horses, sheep, all the stuff. But then like you walk down the sidewalk and you end up here, you're like, whoa, hold up. That's something I'm not like super familiar with. You get kids that are just out here bouncing up and down because it's like, it's the coolest thing ever. But then you have the other side of the spectrum where it's like, maybe it's the little kids that really want to come in here, but then the parents are the ones being drug in here. They might tell us right at the ticket window, ugh, I hate snakes. And by the time they get to the end, I get more questions from the parents about now their curiosity's been sparked.
I keep reptiles. I breed snakes. I've done this since I was 7 years old. And I'm not going to tell you how far back that was, but that was a long time ago. I traditionally bring most of my stuff on the Saturday before the fair. The big snakes, most of the venomous stuff, I bring them in. I don't want them sitting out here any longer than they have to be, so put them in relatively small cages than what I would normally keep them in, just because we only had so much building space here. So to get as much stuff in here as we could, we kind of made the cages smaller than I would prefer them to be. So at home, they've got a lot nicer environment.
Oh, I can tell this off.
So we've been at it forever. There were 4 of us that started up in the grandstand, as a matter of fact. That was 51 years ago. I have 2 other partners now. Used to work for me out here, and now I've made them partners in this exhibit. And the 3 of us keep all of these animals. Zach, who is one of the guys, one of his primary interests is in lizards, so he keeps a number of lizards. And he's got the Gila monster. Nick, who is from Columbia, Missouri, is a professor at the Missouri University. He and I are kind of on the same wavelength on what we like and what we keep.
It's funny because when people get the opportunity to interact with an animal, they get an appreciation for it. They make a connection with that organism. And the reason why I continue to be involved in this is the education aspect of it. I mean, I'm an educator, so that's kind of like my big kick for this.
But I think a lot of people are amazed at what they see inside here, because you're going to see things and you get up pretty close to the stuff. It's just not stuff you're going to see every day.
Yeah, they have to earn their rent, but at the same time they get a kickback for the whole rest of the year and just get ready for the next year.
You know, we didn't know what was going to happen when we started this whole thing. The opportunity presented itself to be out here, so we thought we'd give it a try. We run several thousand people through this thing every year, so it's a pretty popular exhibit. And my goal above all is to make sure, hopefully when you leave here, the next time you see a snake in the wild, you admire it and leave it alone.
All right, guys, look right here. 1, 2, 3, smile.
Behind every ribbon is someone who decided to give it a try. Let's recognize some of today's Iowa State Fair winners. We've seen some remarkable talent already tonight, and there's plenty more to come. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll meet someone who's turned cow chip throwing into an award-winning skill.
Real cow pies.
We'll cheer on some young bakers as they put their creativity and culinary skills to test. And we'll see some determined young drivers power through the pedal tractor pull. So don't go away. We'll be right back with more Iowa State Fair highlights on Iowa PBS.
I'm gonna hit you with some impossible choices. Are you ready?
Oh man, I hope so.
Okay, butter cow or giant slide?
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to say butter cow.
Butter cow. Giant slide. Giant slide.
Butter cow. Butter cow.
Oh, the giant slide.
Corn dog or pork chop?
Corn dog.
Oh, 100% pork chops. Love the Iowa pork producers.
That's a tough one. I'd have to say both.
Morning at the fair or night at the fair?
I would say morning.
Night at the fair.
It depends on if you're working. If you're working, morning. But if you're outside, night.
I would say night, because right now I'm regretting coming right now instead of last night.
Yeah.
Cowboy boots or comfortable shoes?
Comfortable shoes.
Comfortable shoes for sure.
Comfortable shoes.
You had to think about that for a moment.
I did, yeah. Cowboy boots are cuter, but.
I'm an advocate for comfortable shoes, but cowboy boots can be comfortable if worn right. So I'm giving politician answers, aren't I?
Welcome back, everyone. We've already seen that the Iowa State Fair is a way of turning just about any skill into a competition. Our next story introduces us to a woman who mastered one of the fair's most unusual events and whose record-setting throw is part of fair lore.
Guess what I found today? I found my 1982 Women's Cow Chip Throwing Contest first place ribbon. It's awesome. I'm never going to misplace it ever again.
Now an event that makes you glad there's no such thing as smell-o-vision. Steve Gibbons takes us to the Cow Chip Throwing Contest.
Seeing who can hurl cow chips the farthest has been a favorite fair tradition for nearly 50 years. And in the early 80s, history was unknowingly made by one young woman in her 20s.
My oldest sister and I decided to go to the fair, and we were just meandering up on the hill, and the cow chip throwing contest was about ready to start, and I wanted to do it. There was a big cardboard box of cow chips, and I started looking at them because they were all different sizes, and I wanted to get one that was somewhat symmetrical and equal thickness across, but not big. And I decided by watching previous people that not the frisbee throw and not the underhand throw was going to be the technique. The technique was going to be the overhand throw, and it went sailing. And then it continued to roll and hit a car in the front and on the street and then fell over.
Pam's throw was measured at 146.7 feet, a women's record that still stands today.
I didn't even know I was a reigning champion until my sister in Oregon heard it from one of her friends on a PBS program. So then she called me and said, "Did you know you're the reigning champion?" And I said, I did not. I was quite shocked.
Now that she's retired, Pam has time in her schedule to compete in the contest again. We took a trip out to her farm to get some pointers on how to win the cow chip throwing contest.
Real cow pies.
Here's a stack of cow pies, the first I've ever picked from the family farm. This one, obviously, is too light thin. It's not going to go the distance. This guy, pretty good, symmetrical, but it's a little bit big. I would probably take some of this out to make it more of a frisbee size. Too light, too thin, not going to be a good champion cow chip. This one, although, is a little bit bent. It's got a nice weight and it's symmetrical. That's it! That's the one I like. I grew up with a family of 7 kids, and I was the tomboy of the family. And so it was football, basketball, frisbee out in the front yard and in the street.
91.
Though it's not a requirement to be an athlete to participate in or even win the contest, Pam knows a thing or two about the best throwing techniques.
One is frisbee style. Not very effective, as you can tell. Another is the underhand style. Granny. Also not very effective. My personal favorite is the tomahawk throw. Yeah.
All that said, throwing dried cow manure down a hill as hard as you can is not that serious. Like most activities at the fair, you do it because it's entertaining.
It's not about winning, it's about participating and having fun. I think everybody should go give it a fling.
The state of Iowa has a long tradition of manure and athletic competition. Pair the two together on the famous Pioneer Hall Hill every Wednesday of the Iowa State Fair, and you will take part in one of the greatest traditions, the Great Cow Chip Toss.
First place at 119 feet, Jesse.
Jesse, you just won first place in the men's division. What's that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me. My family and I have been coming to the fair for the last 15 years, and we partake in some of these events. This is the first time that I've entered this contest, and I'm just excited.
For Lisa, 42. All right, Pam. Gas on that.
What is unique about this competition?
It's fun for everybody. Everybody can do it, men, women, children. You know, age doesn't matter, and everybody seems to just love it. And it has a huge tradition, too.
All right, Finley, whenever you're ready. Nice. All right, Bailey, whenever you're ready. That's pretty good.
Have you entered this contest before?
No,
Why are you entering it now?
because I wanted to do it.
Have you identified which cow chip you want to throw?
The size of a baseball and as heavy as a baseball.
That is a very good strategy. And I hear that you had help getting entered into this contest. Who helped you?
My aunt.
And I hear she's done it before. Has she given you any advice?
Not really before, but she has now.
Running start. Is that what's happening? Don't cross the line. Nice throw, buddy. 40 for Keegan. Thought you were getting hot. There you go.
Oh, that one.
78 for Paul. And our first place winner with 78 feet, the golden chip winner, Paul.
You just want to not embarrass the network. I mean, you are the host of a show that's about agriculture. You got to kind of maybe be able to throw it. Normally, I verbally throw the manure. This time I had to physically do it. Now I get to stand in my own manure holding this golden cow pie.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're glad that you're here for the 3 o'clock Junior Chef Championship. We came up with this idea several years ago in order to feature opportunities of people who we think are going to be our next TV celebrities as part of those experiences. Young people who are junior chefs and aspire to do something like that in our contest.
This will be my 4th year in this competition.
I've done about 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 years now.
We're going to begin today by asking our judges to go over and take a look at the table. We have 10 entries today. We're excited about that. Most of the people who do this contest, if not all, have a creative side and an ability to do marvelous things, far beyond often what adults do in a contest. What we want to do is to let you shine and to be that kind of person.
This year my grandma showed me this dessert. It's a pavlova. It's a very sensitive dessert, so if you top it too early before you have it, then it'll just melt and collapse. So it's very important to serve it right away.
Well, I started this year with apple cider donuts, and I've just kind of always loved the fall vibe coated desserts. So my family always goes apple picking in the fall. And we get these special kind of apples that we make cider with, and then that cider gets all concentrated, and then we put that into the donuts.
I brought molasses cookies. I made them because molasses is sticky, and I love molasses cookies. And they're just really good with the taste, and the texture is really fine, and it's really moist.
I'm watching my granddaughter's cake be judged today. She had to leave to go to dance, but she likes chocolate and peanut butter, and that's what she put in her cake.
Stompin' Mad Oreo muffins, and I made them because I thought they would be nice. I like the Oreos in them. I like having the Oreos.
What's it been like sitting here waiting for them to get judged?
Tough.
Judging today will be 65%. That will be on flavor and taste, creative chef twist appearance of 30 points, and a written story each one will be providing, and there'll be a 5% choice on that.
It's pretty nerve-wracking, not knowing what they're saying and trying to decide if it's good feedback or bad or what they think.
Well, every time I see it go from judge to judge, I think, I get excited. It's fun. It's fun.
So are you in this to win or just for fun?
I think I'm in to win, but also for fun.
I'm kind of trying to win it. I've been trying to get more into the culinary world, so trying to step up.
I always try to win, but if I don't, it's still a good experience.
The championship is almost here, and these performers are one step closer after another impressive day on the Riley stage. See the Talent Championship Sunday, August 23rd at 8 p.m. on Iowa PBS. You don't need a driver's license to compete in this next event, just a little leg power and a whole bunch of determination. Here's the pedal tractor pull.
We do 26 a year between June to the second week in October, mostly county fairs. In the September, a lot of fall festivals and celebrations.
We normally do ages 3 to 12. The people that are 4 to 12 get to go on to the state level and then the national levels. If you're on asphalt, it's different than concrete. Like today, we're pulling uphill. It's going to be a little bit different than pulling a flat.
I mean, essentially they are competing to see who can go the farthest with the heaviest weight, but we don't want to lose the fun in it.
Go! 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 Go!
My technique is I lean with the pedal I push with, which gives me it gives you a little better boost when you're going further. I got first at the Boone County Fair in July, and then that was also really fun, but I didn't get interviewed like this. It was really fun. This is the first time I've ever done it at the state fair, and this is also the first time I've ever won a trophy at the state fair.
Well, I've been doing lumberjack competitions and shows when I was a little child. I was competing in it since I was about 8 years old. Did my first show when I was 11 years old, and been producing lumberjack shows on my own since I've been 18, 19 years old. touring across the world on 5 different continents.
Here we go. 3 points, all right.
It started in the United States of America, these competition stuff. It's truly American. The very first lumberjack entertainment and competitions were the camps, particularly on the East Coast. They came out of the woods to the festivals about 250 years ago. And there they always said, well, our guy's the best chopper or sawyer. Our guy's the best log roller. So they decided to have the competitions for the public to decide who was the best. And then they started doing it in all these festivals and fairs, and it kind of grew from that. Axe throwing, it took place a long time ago, and the lumberjacks didn't do it for work, they did it to get out of work. The best axe thrower, when they came out of the camp they threw at night, had chores. Well, if he won it, he could go back in the bunkhouse and take a nap and rest. But the worst one had to clean out the latrines. And you would not want to clean out the latrines for a bunch of lumberjacks. That would be nasty.
Let's see if you can get a bullseye. Here's the windup. It's a good throw anyway. There's your winner. Give him a big hand. And sometimes that happens.
Log rolling, that's a skill that they learned from hopping on the river drives going down the river, because the logs would get stuck, and the only way they could do it is pry and poke them out of the jams. And the guys that did it, they weren't really called log rollers or burlers. They were called river pigs or river rats. Log rolling is not easy. It takes years and years of practice to get proficient at it.
As a kid, I was only 5 years old, and I started taking log rolling classes, which is a big thing around Wisconsin. So started doing that and got involved in competitions as a kid, and then eventually as I grew up, I started doing professional competitions.
All right, key in, Connor.
I think I'm ranked 4th in the world right now, so and you can have fun with it a little bit, and get falling in the water. I think the crowd really likes it a lot.
All right, they're out there, they're rocking, they're rolling, they're moving, they're swinging.
We just have a blast out here. Yeah, it's choreographed a bit, but the fact of the matter is, we don't know how every show is going to go, and it's the unique things that makes everybody smile.
All right, we're tied up.
I liked when they went on the logs. Yeah.
You think you could do that?
No, definitely not.
I've never grown up. It's a blast. I mean, we had 700 people here watching the show. They all enjoyed it. They had fun. They come back and talk to you. You feel like a superhero every day.
They're all like real logs made out of real wood, including this one. The ones that in the competitions are a bit smaller, so they roll a lot faster, and there's just less surface area to stand on. You got to make it a little bit quicker and just do some fancy things. So sometimes I'll try to rock the log around and then splash some water and just do fun stuff like that to make it entertaining.
In life, we got a lot of stresses now. And people come and sit down on our show for half an hour, they enjoy it. If we can make them forget about their problems in life and just have a blast, hey, I'm doing my job.
So I'm Forrest Buford. I'm based in Southwest Georgia, working for Hot Glass Academy. We travel all over the country doing live glass demonstrations so that everybody can see this ancient dying art, or at least not if I have anything to do about it. We're going to be making a wonderful, wonderful project this morning that will be an ear of corn. Our furnace is at 2,000 degrees right now, and that is thanks to turning it on about 3.5 hours beforehand. That's how long it takes to melt down some pre-made glass. We take glass that already exists and throw it in here and melt that down. So I've got all of these little dishes of color right here, but as you can see, I've got my yellow and my green out for doing the ear of corn. So we're taking glass and putting it inside of a furnace like this, and you heat it up to 2,000 degrees. That's where glass is liquid. And we can take that liquid, it behaves like honey at first when it comes out, and we can sculpt, squish, and shape that into almost anything. If I can come up with a way to pinch, poke, or pull it, it'll turn into what I'm thinking about, hopefully. And now I have all of the glass I need to make a big, big ear of corn. Take a second to let it soak in a little more heat. And then we'll turn around and we're going to add the colors to it. So color is very special. I mentioned that you throw in different things like metal oxides. A few examples are like for this yellow. So this is going to be an ear of corn. I don't know, you guys think it's ear of corn yet? Yeah, no. So we got a ways to go. And what we're going to need to do is use some molding to add in different amounts of texture to the surface that'll help it look a lot more like an ear of corn. But to marver glass is to press down, squish, and change the shape of the form. It is this magic material. It's playing with fire, you know, that little boy kind of thing, but also the fact that this amorphous lump can turn into almost anything that I want, whether I'm aiming for some kind of extreme perfection or for literally an equally amorphous lump. And the fact that I can take the time to figure out a process for that, it helps with, you know, people talk about the left and the right brain struggle, the science brain and the art brain. There's a lot of both going on in the glass world. Yes. And here in a few moments, when it's at just the perfect temperature, we'll stick it down, and then we'll start to stretch it out some, and I'm going to cut it free with a pair of shears. There we go. So now we got the leaf number 1 established. I'll make it even a little bit flatter, and then we can come in there and pull it out into place. I've been doing all kinds of things. Farm animals, corn, of course, because we're here at the Iowa State Fair. So now we've got our corn where it'll sit on the table. So we got to run it off to our oven now, and where it's going to cool very carefully tonight. So that'll be in there for about 12 hours, but that's how you do some corn, guys.
That brings another evening of Iowa State Fair highlights to a close. Thank you so much for spending part of your night with us. And remember, if you'd like to watch any of tonight's stories again, we've made it so easy to watch whenever you'd like. Whether you're catching up on a favorite story or watching for the first time, you can find all of our Iowa State Fair coverage wherever you connect with Iowa PBS anytime. Tomorrow night, we'll wrap up another week of Iowa State Fair highlights with one more hour of unforgettable stories.
Get out your throat lozenges. It's time for the hog calling contest.
We'll mark the 100th anniversary of a competition that's been raising voices and drawing crowds for generations. We'll watch utility crews put their skills to the test in the Lineman Rodeo. And we'll close out our week by celebrating the achievements of 4-H and FFA members at the Sale of Champions. Thanks for joining us tonight. One of the things we've been reminded of this week is that talent comes in all kinds of forms, and the Iowa State Fair has a wonderful way of celebrating every one of them. We hope you'll join us one more time tomorrow night. Until then, I'm Bill Riley. Have fun at the fair.
Funding for Fair 2026 is provided by
Pella Windows and Doors help bring your home to life. For more than 100 years, Pella has been dedicated to building a brighter future in Iowa communities. Pella Corporation is a proud supporter of Iowa PBS.
With our Iowa roots and Midwestern values, Farmers Mutual Hail is committed to offering innovative farm insurance for America's farmers, just as we have for 6 generations. Farmers Mutual Hail, America's crop insurance company.
As Iowans, we all want clean air, land, and water. Iowa's pig farmers do too. You can learn more about the Iowa Pork Producers Association at iowapork.org/wecare.
Since 1929, Wellaby has offered insurance solutions to help people protect their health and financial well-being. Wellaby strives to empower people to be well prepared, and well protected. Learn more at wellaby.com.
Welcome to Iowa, where you can explore parks, wander countless trails, and experience history, culture, and art. Travel Iowa.
At Iowa Corn, we know that corn is more than just a crop. It fuels our cars, feeds our livestock, and is in over 4,000 products on your grocery store shelves. Iowa doesn't just grow corn, corn grows Iowa. Learn more at iowacorn.org.
Banking in Iowa goes beyond transactions. Banks work to help people and small businesses succeed. And Iowa banks are committed to building confident banking relationships. Iowa Banks, your partner through it all.